The word freak off been now is a criminal thing. Back in the days, the dude be like, yo, me and wifey was freaking off last night. Now you say freaking off, that is a crime. Having sex on the beach with your girl could be freaking off. Anything that's outside of the bedroom could be freaking off. Having sex with your wife on the sink is freaking off. Anything outside of the bedroom is freaking. Having sex in the shower is freaking off. The Torah was asked to describe what a freak off was. What she said was a sexual encounter proposed by Combs a year into their relationship, in which she would perform for him with a third party, usually an escort. That is called a menage a trois. That is called a threesome. That would be called voyeurism. That would be called cuckolding. That would be a slang for any of those. And he would direct us in what we were doing, she said. The Torah said Combs was in charge of hiring escorts for the freak offs at first, but eventually it became her job, which would make her what? Come on, y'all, say it. A co-conspirator. Say the word with me. The Torah said Combs was in charge of hiring the escorts for the freak offs at first, but eventually it became her job, right? Her job, not something that she was forced to do, right? So if she was calling these people for herself, if it became her job, did she have to keep that job? If your boss curse you out and called you racial slur on your job, you're going to stay on that job or will you quit? So now that he's telling you, like back in the days when we was kids, go get that switch off the tree to get your being. You tell me you going to get the switch every time you going to go get the biggest one, this, that, and you going to go get it, right? Because why? Because that's your mother. That is your father. You're getting disciplined. Go hire in a sex worker for you to come. Ain't no goddamn punishment. And that ain't something you have to do. You could go to the police if you're being forced to do that. If you don't want to do it, there is a place for you to call. It is 911. You don't have to do it. It's only a year to the relationship. She said this started. 1 year to the relationship. She could have left him. So don't say, oh, it was just years of mind control and mind. It was a year into the relationship. It was his money. It was the fame. It was the power that she got from dealing with him. Now, some of y'all going to say, oh, Joke, you being so insensitive. A year later, he could have had control over her mind. And Ryan Leslie then, that she would leave him. And he had more time with her than that 1 year. Okay. But if it became her job, right? Let's say I get down with Diddy and he's selling drugs, right? And now he get me to be the lookout, or he get me to be the nigga to bag it up, or me to be the nigga to drop off the money. Drop off the drugs and pick up the money, whatever. If any of that becomes my job, what am I? a co-conspirator, right? I would be a co-defendant. She is a co-defendant in this nigga case in racketeering or sex trafficking or whatever. It became her job. Just because they fucking broke up. We're talking 1 year later, right? 8 years later is when the goddamn fight happened. The CNN video. So for 1 year up into 8 years, before they had a falling out, that was her job. She wasn't forced into she broke up with the nigga and everything went bad. But for the first 8 years, let's say the first 5 years, that was her job. You telling me if she was bagging up the coke or making the deliveries or whatever, anything that she was doing with him that was illegal, she's not a co-defendant? She wasn't a victim in the beginning, right? She's incriminating herself. Cassie describes how Combs asked her to participate in freak-offs. The government witness described herself as a confused The government witness described herself as a confused 22-year-old when Combs first asked her to have sex with another man as he watched. Man, I hope they could find somebody, even Ryan Leslie, to ask him if they ever had a threesome before she ever got with Diddy. Any of her boyfriends, if they ever had a threesome. That's what I'll be looking for. I was 22 at the time. My stomach churned. Didn't have a concept of how that would be a turn on, but I accepted the responsibility. Cassie testified, I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much and wanted to make him happy. A year later, you loved him very much a year later. Girl, you must be in love with all the escorts thing that you had encounters with for years. You was nervous. Your stomach churned. You didn't have a concept of how that would be a turn on, but you accepted it. And you loved him so much, and you wanted to make him happy, that you would do something that you was confused about, that turned your stomach. So if he asked you to eat a bowl of shit, you would have been that in love with him that you would have ate it, even though it would have made your stomach churn, and you wouldn't understand what satisfaction you would have got from me seeing you eating doodle. But you would have did it if you loved him very much after being with him for 1 year. Okay. Even if she didn't like these kinds of sexual encounters, Cassie said she just wanted to please Combs. Why? Why would you want to please him if he wants you to do something that you don't want to do? You want to please him because the nigga was rich, because he was Puff Daddy. Not because you was in love, because that nigga was going to make you a star, in your opinion, allegedly. So once again, this proves that she did it because she wanted to do it. Whether she wanted to do it to make him happy, if she wanted to do it to make him proud, she wanted to do it because she loved him so much. It's not forced. It's not coercion. He asked her and she agreed to it. She could have said no. She said she did it because she loved him. She could have said, no, I don't give a fuck if it made her stomach turn all the way upside down. And her uterus was at her heart. Where's the force when you said you did it because you loved him? That's not force.